Well, welcome everyone to Love versus Hate. My name is Anne, and I am your old-fashioned nerd.
And I'm Emily, your mainstream millennial.
And on this podcast, Emily and I like to debate about things in life that we love and that we hate.
And statistically, everyone agrees with me more than Anne.
It's only because the millennials are on the social platforms, and that's the only way that we've tested this is on social media. That's your only statistics.
It's still statistics.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, well, nerds, if you're out there, you have to let me know because it's true. Emily does usually tend to get more people to agree with her on social media.
You can't see right now, but I'm smiling.
So anyway, we had a little idea for an intro. We're going to be talking about college loves, like things that we did in college that we loved. But before we get into it, Emily had this epiphany and she just had to share it with you all. So Emily, why don't you tell us what was your epiphany?
So I saw a meme about the Little Rascals on Facebook as I was scrolling one day, and it was the part where Alfalfa is writing his love letter to Darla, and then I was telling Anne about it, and she's like, I've never seen the Little Rascals before, and so I was like, what the heck? So I went on YouTube and found the clip of that part of the movie, and I was watching it right before I sent it to Anne, and I realized that when he's like, Dear Darla, I hate your stinking guts. You make me vomit. You're scum between my toes. Love, Alfalfa. I thought he actually wrote that in his letter, but when I was watching that clip on YouTube, I realized he didn't actually write that. He was actually writing a love letter, and he was like, Dear Darla, I love you. I can't live another day without you. Love, Romeo, or whatever. And I was like, how did I not know that he wrote that the whole time, every time I watched it? And let me tell you, that used to be one of my favorite movies, and I used to watch it a lot. And I still have watched it as an adult, and I still didn't notice it until like a couple days ago. And I was literally just dumbfounded that I hadn't noticed. And so obviously it plays into the plot when Alfalfa's friends can't find the letter, and then they find it, but he blows his nose in it, so she can't read the letter, so they recite it back, the not actual love letter, but the hate letter. And so I'm like, wow, my whole life was a lie. But I feel like that's very common with like shows and TV or shows and movies that we used to watch as a kid. Like there's probably a lot of stuff that we miss and we don't see it until we watch it as an adult.
Yeah, no, I agree. I always think of the classic, so my favorite Disney princess movie, from the classic ones anyway, is Beauty and the Beast. And I've watched that movie a million times. It's one of my favorites. The main reason I like it is because the prince actually has character development, and so that's one of the reasons I like it. And so I recently watched Beauty and the Beast again, and I had this realization. This was probably like a year ago, so it's not as recent as your Rugrats, or I'm sorry, what did you call them?
Oh my gosh.
Little Rascals?
Yeah, the Little Rascals.
They're all the same to me. I never watched any of them.
One is a cartoon and one isn't.
Oh, okay. Well, it's same wording. It's like a...
Once again, Anne is wrong.
Wow, we're not keeping track.
Continue with your story.
Great. Now I'm going to talk about
what were you talking about? Aladdin or something?
No, Beauty and the Beast.
Same thing.
Okay, you're right. I understand. It's not though. You're right. Okay. Anyway, so in Beauty and the Beast, recently, about a year ago, I realized something. Did you know that movie takes place in France?
And I haven't even seen the movie, and I know that.
You haven't seen Beauty and the Beast?
I don't think so.
What's wrong with you? What?
I don't know. I've seen the Broadway show a long time ago.
What the heck, Emily? We'll have to right this wrong. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't notice it, because literally in the opening song they say bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. Like that's how they say hello. Yeah. And then also the whole time that Lumiere is singing the Be Our Guest, he's like, after all, miss, this is France. And he literally says it. And
Yeah.
it never clicked with me as a kid that they're in France. They even build an Eiffel Tower and everything. And nope, didn't get it.
Went right over your head.
Yeah, they even say like Marie, the baguettes, hurry up! Like there's so many clues, and I just never thought about it.
Have you seen Anastasia?
I have. Yeah.
Do you know where that takes place?
I would guess Russia,
Oh, good job.
because it's the Romanovs. See, I knew that one, but yeah. I don't know. It was one of those weird things. I just never associated it with France until I was older and was like, wait a minute.
Isn't that weird, though, how we never notice these things as kids? Or
It
adults?
is, yeah. Yeah.
No judgment.
Kids just pay attention to different things, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Tis true.
But anyway, Emily, what did you pay attention to in your college life? Tell me about that a little bit.
You know, not much. I was just looking through all my old photos from back in the day, just to maybe spark some ideas and memories. But a lot of stuff, like freshman year was just all dorm life. I didn't really do a lot outside of just hanging out with friends, and we had everyone on my floor. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people on my floor we considered like our floor family. So we did a lot of stuff together.
Dwah.
I know, so cute. Now I don't really talk to any of them except for like a couple, but it's fine.
Some family.
We're a broken family now.
Aw. Okay, that was just sad.
So yeah, back in the prank episode, that's the year that we did a bunch of pranks. We would always go to the dining halls together, watch movies together, just do everything together, it seems like. And then I was also in an a cappella group.
Oh, that's cool.
When was that? It might have been like junior to senior year or sophomore to senior year. I can't really remember. But you know how in college they have those like club fairs or whatever they call them, where
Yes.
there's just a whole bunch of tables of all the clubs and organizations that you can join. Mm-hmm. So I was walking through, and there was one that had an a cappella group, and they were like, oh, do you want to sign up? And I'm like, I'm a really shy singer. So I was like, okay. And they're like, auditions are tomorrow. And I'm like, what? So I sang a Sam Smith song. I can't remember which one, but I sang one of those, and then I got in, and it was really cool because we sang all the Pitch Perfect songs because that was really popular back when I was in college.
Oh, right.
So-
And that was like one of the first major a cappella movies that people really loved.
Yeah. So that was fun. I did a lot of stuff for that. I wasn't really close with a lot of the girls, though, which was kind of a bummer, but I was more just into it because I love singing. Let's see, what else? Oh, I remember a class. It was a script writing class or a screenwriting class. So most of the class, we just read the screenwriting, or what am I saying? We read the script.
I don't know what you're saying. You're getting all your words confused.
Yeah. We read the script, and then we would watch the movie, and then we would do that over and over again with all these different movies. And then at the end, our main project was to write our own script. And I was writing my script, and I just didn't know what to call it. So I put the title, like as a placeholder, I just said title here. And we went into all these little groups that we were like just reading each other's scripts and like offering feedback. And my script was about this girl who woke up and she didn't know like who she was, where she was, anything about anything. And so somebody read my script and she was like, oh my gosh, I really loved your title. I feel like it just really matches with your script. And I was like, thanks. Just a placeholder. But I kept it because I was like, well, now I don't have to think of a title.
Was she being sarcastic at all?
No. And then like we had to go around the class with all of our groups and like say some of our feedback. And that was one of the feedback that like the girls said in front of the whole class, and everyone's like, yeah. And my professor's like, that is a really cool idea. I was just like, thanks. I totally did that on purpose.
Oh, that's hilarious. Title here.
Yeah.
The newest groundbreaking literature by
Yes.
Emily Bells.
Yes. Call me for all of your title writing needs.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, I was an art student when I went to college. And so you get into some very interesting things, I think, when you're an art student. Like, my friend did a project where she literally blew paint at me.
Glue paint.
And she had it in this hose because she wanted this like spray effect because she was making I can't remember what the end project was, but she wanted somebody to like, basically this machine something goes wrong with it and paint spits out at it. And so the only way she could think of to effectively get that effect was to literally, she had paint in a tube and she would blow into it and it would hit me in the face. So that was fun. We also, I don't know, we got into so many shenanigans. One of the things, this is something that I'm recommending to potentially anyone who's going to college or in college right now. When we were doing projects and stuff, we would be in this basement and we called it the cave because there was no windows and so we would never get sunlight or anything. But there were also a bunch of lockers down there that people could like rent out and you could put your stuff in there. And we decided, my group of friends and I, that we were going to make what we called a fun locker. So we took one that wasn't being used and we just filled it with coffee and snacks and jump rope and a frisbee and a soccer ball and all of these like fun things. And so while we were working together in the studio, we would take breaks and we'd go to the fun locker and we'd either like pull out a frisbee or something and we'd go outside and we'd like run around and play for a little bit, or we would take a snack break or whatever it might be. And then we would always like, everybody was willing to add to it. You know, and if something went out, another person would like add something into it. And it was really fun. And you never knew what you were going to find in there because we would always change what was in there and add stuff into it. And I remember we were doing, so for art, you have to do a show. You like present. It's like kind of like a thesis, but rather than a thesis, you're doing, you put your art in one of the museums that we have on campus. And it was during that show and we were all getting bored. It wasn't my show. It was one of my friends because she was like, you do it when you're about to graduate. And we were like, let's just go to the fun locker and get some, because we knew we had some popcorn in there. And so we go down there and we pull out popcorn and we like back up and one of the teachers is just staring at us and he's like, what are you doing? And we're like, we just got hungry. And it was just really funny. He applauded us though for our fun locker. He thought it was a good idea. So yeah, that was one thing that I really loved, which again, good tip for anyone who has to be stuck in studios all day.
We didn't have lockers.
Me and Emily. What?
Why did you have lockers? It's not high school.
Well, they were for, because a lot of students would have either materials or equipment that they wouldn't want to lug around all the time. And so they would just put it in lockers that they had in the building.
Interesting.
Yeah. But
so
it was very fun.
What would you recommend for people who don't have lockers?
Have a bag. Maybe keep it in one of your professor's offices. Potentially. Or something like that. I don't know. It was fun though. Or just have one item that you keep in your bag, whether it's like a frisbee or maybe just some snacks. Like keep something in your bag and then when you're walking around in your backpack.
Cool.
One thing I also really loved, so I went to school near Lake Superior up in Marquette, Michigan, and one night I was determined to jump into the lake at like midnight, and so some of my friends were willing to do it with me, and we totally just ran. It was probably like March. It was freezing, and we just like ran into the lake.
Ugh.
So fun. It was fun. Something I loved.
Yeah. I didn't do that in college, but I did it the other year, and it was not fun.
You don't like getting wet?
I don't know. I can't breathe really very well when I'm in water, especially when I like am shocked. Like I jumped into the lake, I didn't run into it. So like when I jump in, like my body gets really shocked and then I have a hard time breathing with my asthma.
Oh, well that sounds dangerous.
Yeah. So if you see the video, I'll show you the video and then you can see me. I'm like kind of freaking out in the water when I get in there. I'm like
oh, that sounds scary.
It is, but I lost a bet, so I had to.
Oh, well, I applaud your commitment to keeping with the bet
Thank you.
and following through. You know what else my friends and I would do in college that I absolutely loved and highly recommend to anybody? You do not have to be an art major to do this.
What?
We would go on photo shoots.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you ever do that?
Yeah, I did.
It was so much fun. Like usually there was at least 3 or 4 of us who would bring like our professional cameras or just any camera. It doesn't really matter. And we would either go to a location or sometimes just walk around downtown. And it was always super fun. And we would get great pictures for like memories afterwards.
Yeah.
It was thebomb.com.
Yeah, I think I bought like my own DSLR. Actually, it was a Sony mirrorless camera in college, I think. So I was like, let's go take pictures. I always wanted to like take pictures of my friends and like see what I could do. And I was literally always videotaping everything. I was always recording everyone, and they're always annoyed. They're like, Emily, stop it. And I was like, no, it's for the memories. You'll thank me later. And now they do, because I've edited a like collection of all my videos for each year, and it's so fun.
Do you still watch it sometimes?
Yeah, I have it unlisted on my YouTube channel that I have all unlisted videos of.
Aw, well, that's fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we'll have to share some of our photos on our social of us in college doing crazy stuff.
Did you do anything like as a freshman when you first started? Did they do anything for you guys? Like for us, we had to paint the Warhawk Avenue street purple. We painted the road purple.
What? Why?
I don't know. They just
Is
did
it still purple?
Freshmen do it every year, and then like as the year goes on and it rains and everything, the road goes back to normal. But then every year the freshmen just paint the road purple. Because our color is purple, and we're like, bleed purple. Woo!
Oh, no. That sounds like you need to go to a doctor if you're bleeding purple. You might be an alien.
We're just
interesting.
Cool. It's fine.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Let's see. No, I don't really remember doing anything like that. We had, though, it was called an FYE block, which is a first year experience. And so they force you to take the same classes as other people. So that way freshmen kind of can get a friend group. Oh, by the way, I have a theory that this is total side tangent because, I like to do that. I have this theory. There's basically 3 ways that you make friends in college. So this is a pointer to, again, anyone who might be in college, like a freshman, or you're about to go. There are 3 ways you can make friends. 1 is exactly how Emily did. It's your floor mates and the people you live with. 2 is in your actual classes, like in your major, people who you see a lot because you're in the same classes and you talk about professors and make fun of them, that sort of thing.
Yep.
And then 3 is like the clubs that you do. So whether that's music or you did an a cappella one, I did like a film club, like there's clubs that you make friends in. And usually in one of those 3 is where you meet your like core friends. You usually will make friends in all 3 of those categories, but you'll make like core friends in one of those 3.
Or out drinking. I didn't do that because I was a good kid, obviously. And my friends were already my friends, and then we drank together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's how it happened for me. Definitely for me.
But I know that other people are like that, so.
Oh, yeah, that's true, I suppose. For me, I obviously had friends in all 3, but my core was definitely my classmates. And part of it was this FYE experience that they made us do. So for the first semester, we had to take classes with the same people, basically, that were in our majors. Mm-hmm. And a lot of my core friends came from that. Like, we all met the first day in our very first class, which is kind of cool. But one of my favorite parts about that, though, is they had like an FYE class where you were just paired with a professor in your major, but didn't have to, like, in the art department. It wasn't necessarily your major. And they would just, like, take you on tours. You could ask questions. And I don't really know if they even had a lesson plan because our teacher definitely didn't. Because we literally watched YouTube videos the entire time.
Yeah, we had something like that, too. So, like, my floor was a lot of the people I started freshman year as an elementary education major. And so a lot of the people on my floor were also in the education major thing. And so we were all, a lot of us on the floor doing the same thing. We all had like one class together with one of the leader people like you had. I just remember that they also had a thing where you could go to school a week early and like meet the people in your whatever group they call it. I can't remember what they called it. But I didn't do that, and so my roommate and a bunch of other girls on my floor did that, and so they all knew each other by the time that I had gotten there. And I was just like, hey guys, I guess I'm not in your friend group because I'm not cool enough. So me and this other girl that came the same day as I did were like, did you get here a week early? And she's like, no. And I'm like, let's be friends.
Aw.
And now she's my bridesmaid.
Aw.
Yeah.
Sounds like kindergarten all over again. Do you want to be my friend? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Well, cool. Was there anything else that you remember in college that you really loved, whether it was an experience or something you did all the time?
My sophomore year, I was living in an apartment with 3 of my friends. One of those being the girl that I was just talking about who became my first friend in college that I didn't already know beforehand. And I have this video of her because, like I said, I was always taking videos of people, and I would just open my door and she was standing there, and then I would close it, and then I'd open it again and she'd be standing at a different spot, and I'd open and close the door and she'd always be standing at a different spot. And for some reason it was like the funniest thing ever. And every time I watch the video, even now, I just like crack up because it's so funny. And I'll probably put it on our Instagram story so you guys can see it because it's just hilarious. You probably won't think it's very funny, but it is funny, I'm telling you.
I was just going to ask the question, would we find it funny?
I guess you'll have to find out.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it to find out.
But other than that, I just chill out in my dorm and don't really do a lot. I was in crew. Did you have crew at your school?
We did, yeah, but I wasn't in it. I went to a couple, but
wow, that's kind of surprising.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. And then let's see what else. I worked at the TV station. That was kind of fun.
Ooh, that is fun.
I had to like work all of the football games, and it was kind of annoying. I was the switcher. I felt special.
Ooh. I don't really know what that means. Like, you just switch between cameras?
Yep.
You pushed buttons. Solid.
I pushed buttons, yo. When it was time for a replay, I was like, oh, replay!
I did marching band.
Oh, yes.
In college, actually. It carried into college as well as high school. And so, yeah, all the football games, except for my senior year, I did marching band my first 3 years, but I didn't do it my senior year. I just had way too much going on. And a lot of my friends had left at that point anyway, so I was like, yeah, no. Anyway, so yeah, I would be marching for a lot of our football games.
Yeah. I also would, for all my video projects for school, I would, because for anybody who's listening and doesn't know me personally, I started off as an education major, and then I switched to communications with an emphasis in electronic media, so like video and audio stuff. So we had a lot of video projects and audio projects, and one of our audio projects was we had to do a voiceover for like the Sandals Resort commercials that you see. And so I did it with a couple of girls in my class, and we were like, you should go to the beach because it's so relaxing. And we had like these weird voices. And now when I listen back, it's so cringy. Or like for my other audio project, we had to mix a song. It's called, I don't know who sings it, but it's called The Real World. I think it's like, I wish the real world would just stop hassling me. And it's pretty popular, I guess. It's like an old like 2000 song, and every time I hear that song now, I just want to like shoot myself in the head because it's so annoying how many times I had to listen to that song while
That's
editing.
funny. And yet you can't remember who the artist was.
No, I'm going to look it up right now.
Oh, okay.
But some other like video projects, I would always just harass my friends to be in it. So I have a music video with all my friends. I have a PSA. One of my friends was in like literally everything, and it's so funny to look at now, and I'm like, oh, I was so bad.
Oh, I know. It was the same thing. I had my set go-to people that I would use in all of my projects. Emily, I kind of have an idea for an episode, and I think our listeners would enjoy it, and I think we should do it.
Okay, wait. The song is called Real World by Matchbox 20.
Nice. Okay, so my idea is that we should sit down together and watch our old projects.
Oh my gosh. We should totally do that as bonus content.
Yes. And I'm not saying we show all of them, but we could maybe just show little clips.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, the first video I ever made for a class, the first like real project, my college friends listening to this will know there's a different project where like I had to ask my friend how to hit, like, because she had hit the record button. I'm like, what does that red button mean? She's like, this red button? That means recording. Anyway, there's video proof of that. But my first ever like real project I did with my family because I was home for that weekend. And oh my gosh, it is so cringy. It is so bad. Emily, it's so bad.
Can't wait to watch it.
Oh man, yeah. So yeah, I think we should do this, and we'll do it as some bonus content for all our listeners so you guys can get to really enjoy. I mean, I guess you don't really know since you only listen to us where our actual video skills lie exactly, but that's okay. We have some bonus content out there. You can kind of see that.
Yeah, and if you do want to see bonus content, you can find that on our YouTube channel. Just search Love vs. Hate Podcast. We also have an Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, so you can find us anywhere.
Exactly. And if you have any feedback for us, or maybe you want us to talk about certain topics, you can also email us at loveversushatepodcast@gmail.com. The versus is VS, by the way.
That also reminds me, another thing that I worked on was, I can't remember what this was for. I think it was for a class, but we did I had my own TV show called, what was it called? Oh, Live on the Edge, because our radio station is called 91.7 The Edge at school. So what we did, it was kind of fun and cool. We had a bunch of local bands come in and record, and then we would interview them.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
So I co-directed with this other guy, and so we had a lot of long nights, though, because we didn't know how to sync things. Yeah. So we had to manually sync audio to the video, and some of the bands were, like, a lot of the bands were really cool, and then there was one band that I remember, they were just totally, like, really either drunk or high, and I was just like, we were asking them questions, and they were just like, yeah, I love pickles, don't you? And I'm like, I didn't ask you anything about pickles, but okay,
and
thanks.
They're called bullas, dude. Gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, if he had said that to him while he was high, I wonder what his response would have been.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, rad, dude. I don't know. I'm really bad at imitating.
You just sound like you just sound like the turtle on Finding Nemo. So, yeah, I also had to be on the radio, and I did not like that.
Which is funny, because now you're on a podcast.
I know.
Which is kind of the same thing.
I know, it's
similar.
So weird, but it's so different when you're, like, talking with somebody else, as opposed to just sitting in an empty radio station by yourself, listening to music that you wouldn't normally listen to, and then you're just like, and that was blah 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 by blah 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 blah. Next up, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, there's a little more pressure there, I think.
Yeah, even though probably nobody was listening, but still.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, Emily, I think for our life lessons, maybe instead of a life lesson, we should give a life advice.
Ooh, yeah.
What would be your life advice for either people currently in college or about to attend college?
I guess mine would be not to take yourself too seriously and to get involved and join something that you like to do. And don't be afraid about, like, if you don't have friends right away, because you're going to make friends.
Yes.
What's yours?
I think mine would be to take pictures, take video, take whatever you can, or maybe keepsakes, whatever it might be, but definitely document your experience as much as you can, because you forget a lot of it as you get older, and it's really fun to look back on it and look through your pictures or look through the things you've kept or videos or anything like that, and it just brings back so many memories that you forget about, and then it's just it makes you happy. It brings a smile to your face, and it's fun to relive memories. So
yeah,
document your experience.
And also, even just talking about it, like me talking to Anne, I totally forgot that I did that show Live on the Edge. I totally forgot that I did the radio thing until I was just talking about it. And so, like, keeping in touch with the people that you also went to school with, too, just to catch up and be like, oh, my gosh, do you remember when we did that? That was crazy. Oh, my gosh.
Yes, absolutely.
And then you'll totally forget all of the things that you used to do.
Absolutely. One of my favorite things for a couple years, I would get together a bunch of my friends from college and we would do the 48-hour film challenge. And every year it was always a blast because we would just, by the late Saturday night into early Sunday morning, we're trying to kind of re-energize ourselves, and we're just laughing so hard because we're like remembering all these stories from college and reminiscing, and it was always so fun. So yes, agree 100%.